Awesome.
Hey guys, welcome back to We Met at Acme. I'm so excited to be here with Erin and Sara Foster. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on. I've been such a huge fan of yours for so long. I actually have my favorite daughter sweatshirt right here.
It's so cute.
And I guess we'll just get right into it. We'll start with Erin. What's your favorite romantic gesture?
My love language is acts of service. So if we get in bed and I realize I left my phone in the kitchen and Simon's like, I'll get up and get that for you, I'm like, I will blow you right now.
Yeah, fully.
You allowed to say blow on?
Of course, of course. By the way, I was just listening to your 100th episode, and according to Sara, Erin, you're very generous with that, with Simon.
I am very generous with that with Simon, but it's really
It's disgusting.
He was very.
It is literally. It is.
He was clear with me early on in the relationship that was sort of that was like a deal breaker for him.
Really?
Well, I have found that like if you have a partner who, well, I think wanting to like have sex with your husband or pleasure him in any way
is a good thing.
Well, of course it's a good thing, but I think that it directly correlates with how much you like the person and how much they are doing for you emotionally. So whatever my emotional needs are, like he sees that it's a formula. Like if he does the things that
He's like a dog.
Feel good for me, if he goes and gets my phone from the kitchen, if he asks me the questions, if he like makes me feel like loved the way that I want to feel loved, then he is going to get a lot more of that in return because you want to make that person happy, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's great incentive. Like that's amazing. And like if it's not like so tedious for you to actually give the physical blowjob, then like why not, you know?
Yeah, no.
But a lot of guys don't understand this. Like a lot of guys don't understand this. Like for the first 10 years of my relationship with Tommy, now we're like going on 17 years. So you probably don't want to ask me a lot, but for the first 10 years, it was like he would be a dick and then get mad at me if I didn't want to have sex at the end of the night. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what's like, sex is sex. I'm like, no, bro, that's not how it works. Like, you don't get to be a dick to me. And then I want to have sex with you. So, but it took like a good 10 years for him to understand, like, that's not how it works. Maybe with some women, but like, not really.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I feel like I'm the opposite, Sara. Like I am the dick and then he doesn't want to have sex with me when I'm being a dick.
Oh, you're just down to have sex, even if there's no like emotional connection, even if you're not feeling like loved or like adored, you're just like, wanna fuck.
Well, I think because, and this is like a whole other topic, but I feel like that's like in a way validating for me that they want to have sex with me. That's like, oh, I'm feeling love now. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a discussion with my therapist. But okay, Sara, what's your favorite romantic gesture?
I mean, it's changed through the years. I think romantic gestures change. I would have said before, like a love letter, a flat. Now I'm like making the kids' school lunches. Like,
right.
No, I'm like,
okay, that's acts of service.
Yeah, that's acts of service.
Yeah. Now I'm like, for me, the dream is like, I would be like, oh my God, if he was like, you know what, Friday night, I'm going to do the carpooling. Valentina and her 12-year-old friends all around town. You go have dinner with a girlfriend. I'd be like, oh, you can do anything you want to me. Anal,
right.
like, you want to bring someone else in the bedroom? Like, to me, that's like,
that makes sense though, because that's thoughtful. You want, like, yeah, thoughtful. So
yeah.
Like in my relationship, Simon's really into sending flowers. And he would send me flowers all the time. And he would feel upset that he wasn't really getting much in return for the flowers. Like he wasn't getting the appreciation that he wanted. And we dealt with it in couples therapy. And it was like, it was more meaningful to him than it was to me because it just wasn't doing for me what he wanted it to do for me. And so he had to notice and realize the things that like, hit you where you want to be hit. And it's just different for everyone.
Do you think that, like sometimes we take for granted, we all complain about like our husbands or whatever, especially in long-term relationships and with kids. And a girlfriend said to me, she was like, you should feel so lucky. Do you know how lucky you are that after 16 years, he still wants to like sleep with you? And I'm like, no, I never even thought about that. In my mind, it's like, that's just a given. You're a couple, you share these experiences,
Yeah.
you're living your life together. And she's like, do you even understand how lucky you are? And it kind of made me sad in one way, because I was like, oh God, I didn't really realize it. And that is an obstacle that so many, I think, long-term couples deal with, or even short-term couples. But then on the other hand, I was like, oh shit, I might need to step up my game a little bit, because that could go away. And then one minute I'm going to be like, but then you wonder if he's all of a sudden not into me, if I'm like wanting to have sex every day. Because that's how, that's our shit. Like that's
right. If he played hard to get.
Yeah. Lindsey, what's your relationship status? We don't know.
I'm married. I was actually, so you're taking the questions out of my mouth. I was just going to ask you guys, even though I know your relationship status, for listeners who don't, what are both of your relationship statuses? That high? I don't know.
I'm married. I've been married for 3 years, together for almost 5.
So I'm in a, trying to do the math. I'm like, is it 16 or 15 or 17? I'm in a long-term relationship with 2 children, unmarried, but with the same person.
So many questions obviously came in about that. What is like, is there one specific reason that you guys never like put an actual ring on it? Or are you just like, we're basically married, so what's the point?
Well, we're definitely basically married. I mean, when you cohabitate, we've been together since I'm like 25 years old. We have 2 kids. Our lives are completely intertwined in together. But like, yeah, I mean, looking back, I guess I didn't grow up like respecting marriage, because I grew up thinking it doesn't mean anything. You just walk away, you cheat, you go to this person, you go to that person. Like, we just didn't grow up with the foundation of marriage being a union of bliss and holy matrimony and forever. And we just didn't. So, but then Tommy grew up, his parents have been together for 55 years. Like, they're literally been together since teenagers. So I think for him, he was like, wait, what? You're like this, you got a lot of issues. And at first I was kind of like, I was excited, you know, we got engaged, it was this beautiful ring in this situation, but it was early on in the relationship. And I was a little bit like, whoa, like, I'm so into you, I want to be with you, but like marriage, oh my God. And then we kind of put it on the back burner, but we're very much committed. And then we had our daughter, and it just sort of was this thing of like, should we, shouldn't we? And now it's like come this far that we don't even talk about it really anymore.
Do you think that there's part of both of you that's just like, it means more that I like choose to be with him every day, that I don't like have to legally be bound to him?
We said that, like, there's something about not being bound by this contract, bound by this thing. We're more like in it because we're choosing to be in it. Not that, you know, married couples aren't choosing to be in it. They could also get divorced very easily. But I think there was a level of that. I always also thought too, like, oh, okay, if the kids were ever like, oh my God, this means so much to me, but they never really did. They were never like, why not? You're not married, and all my friends' families look so different now.
Right.
And we're our kids in a world where families come in all different shapes and sizes, and the kids don't question it. So it is, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it definitely does. And Erin, you never had that like view on marriage, or you did and you were just like, I love Simon so much, I don't care?
I always wanted to get married. I didn't see myself really being able to like have the kind of marriage I have now, just because I had never been in any real healthy relationships before. So, yeah, I think early on in my relationship with Simon, he was very weary of us getting engaged and getting married, because he thought that I would not have respect for marriage, since we grew up in such a like unconventional environment. But then he realized that, and I realized that I value it so much more. Like, Sara and I had different feelings. Me and our sister Jordan kind of have more similar feelings around it, where we really wanted the stability of marriage to contrast our childhood. And we really wanted like the structure and framework. I love like still to this day, like this weekend even, Simon and I will look at each other and be like, I can't believe we're married. This is crazy. Like, I can't believe I have a husband. I can't believe I have a wife. Like, we're still blown away by it. Simon more because he thinks he's like 25. He's not, he's 37.
He's like teen
38.
bride and groom.
Yeah, he thinks he's like too young to be married. And for me, I don't know. I never thought I'd like have this traditional kind of marriage, and it just feels exciting to me.
But when you were a kid, did you like ever dream of like, you know, little girls, they dream about like their wedding and their wedding dress? I never did.
Yeah, I think I did. I mean,
I definitely did.
Not like a cutesy, like silly way. I wasn't like opening up bridal magazines or anything.
Right.
Making like
Oh
mood
my
boards.
God.
But yeah, I don't know. You think about that. Listen, I think the marriage is much more exciting than the wedding.
Totally. Yeah, totally. But the wedding is also pretty exciting.
I never wanted one. And I think even if I did, it would be like a courthouse style situation.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
weird.
I wonder if that's because, and this is just an ode to how much I've stalked you. So Sarah, you're an Aquarius and Erin, you're a Virgo, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like Aquarius are always trying to like be different.
Or flee.
Yeah.
You're like can't be held down. You can't even make lunch plans with her without her like saying,
I'll probably cancel.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So maybe like there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
When are your partners' birthdays?
Simon's birthday is 2 days after mine. It's really inconvenient. So he's August 25th. So he's also
He's a Virgo also. Okay. And when's Tommy?
He's an Aries. He's April 3rd.
Oh, that's a good match. I mean, both of yours are good matches.
Are they?
Definitely. 100%. Were you ever worried, Sarah, about like the whole professional athlete thing?
Good question. I'm just gonna peel it.
I think honestly, like a huge reason why I gravitated towards Tommy, a huge reason why I was like, okay, I'm going to go all in here is because he made me feel so safe. Even though he was like by far the best looking guy I've ever dated, by far the most like hottest, the like, you know, professional tennis player, like top 10 in the world, like all those things, he made me feel more safe than anyone I had ever dated. I had always dated guys who made me like, and look, I have to be now, like looking back, now that so much time has passed, I spent so many years being like, and this guy made me feel this way. And this guy, you know, I was you know, he did this and he did it. And it's like, it's taken me so many years to go, okay, I played a role in that too. You know, they were showing me their behavior and I chose to stay in it. They were showing their behavior, but I still acted the way I acted. Like, I think as young women, like we never really take accountability for our part in things. And so I blamed the guys for so many years. And now finally at this point in my life, I'm like, oh God, like I was a huge part of the problem also. Like they were acting this way because I was acting a certain way.
Right. Or like I let them like, you know, date me for 6 months without a title or something, you know.
100%. Like this guy was like hiding me and ashamed to be seen in public with me. And I was still like, hey, what's our plan Friday night?
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, I won't go outside.
Yeah, I'm like, it's fine. I'll walk out with a blanket covering myself.
Yeah, like I love this. This is so fun.
Like, you want to get in the trunk? Okay, I'll get in the trunk while we drive. Like, so it's like,
it's crazy the things we put up with.
It's crazy.
Insane.
It's crazy. And I'm like, no
But
wonder
it's true.
everybody didn't want to be seen with me. I was like a freak. Like, what kind of freak is okay with that? Anyways, I'm running around in circles. But oh yeah, back to your question about the Tommy. But Tommy was the first person that made me feel seen. He made me feel like worthy. He made me feel beautiful. Like truly like the first guy that made me feel like that. So I just trusted him. Like I really just knew he was going to be careful with my heart. Like I just knew he would. He was just a good guy. And like, look, who knows? I wasn't on the road all the time, but I really firmly would be shocked if someone was like, oh, Tommy hit on me in, 2008. I'd be like, really? Did he? Because he's just not like that.
Yeah. Erin, what was it like? You mentioned like you didn't really have a healthy relationship until Simon, and you dated in your 30s, and so many of our listeners are in their 30s and dating. What was it like for you? Or were you similar to Sara and just like going for the wrong guys?
Yeah, I had really bad dating habits. I was really drawn to the person that wasn't available or was uh emotionally not available, physically not available, kind of in one day, two steps forward, one step back, like just like mentally screwing with you. And I really was so scared to become one of these girls in their 30s panicking and desperate to get married, desperate to figure it out. And just having like a life plan that you're like fitting a person into this, slot. I really didn't want to be that person. And I kept saying, I think this is important. Like I always said, I really want to meet someone and figure this out. But my behavior said the opposite. I would date these like young guys that were like never going to be realistic options, or date these guys that, just lifestyle wise were never going to be realistic options. And so I really had to figure out why I was saying one thing and doing another. I really wasn't interested in dating guys that I could end up with. Like any nice, normal, stable 35-year-old guy, I thought was just like not attractive. So that was my like work that I had to figure out. And I would go to therapy every week and just be like, I don't understand why I'm looking at two people. One of them is 19, and one of them is like a great normal guy with all these things. And why do I not want to go for the normal guy? And that's where, like, to Sarah's point, I think that we do have to kind of look at this idea that every guy is terrible is just not true. Like there are great guys out there, but sometimes we don't want to be with those guys. Right. And that's our own shit. So it took me a really, really long time to figure out why that was happening and take responsibility for it. And eventually around like, I'd say like age 33, I kind of just stopped forcing it. And I accepted that maybe this isn't going to work for me. And I should just focus on my work life and my friendships and my family. And
you were happy.
And I was happy. I was like, I just don't think I can figure this out. It's just not meant for me. I can't get these two pieces together, like the people I'm attracted to and then the people that I work well with. I can't like make them be the same person. So I'm going to stop like jamming this thing, and I'm just going to focus on what is working in my life. What's working in my life is my career and my relationships with my friends and my family.
And your relationship with yourself.
And my relationship with myself.
You like really started working on yourself and like unpacking all the shit.
Yeah. And I got comfortable being alone. I got comfortable being by myself and being single. And I really just leaned into that and accepted it. And as soon as I did, not as soon, but at some point after doing that, someone showed up in my life that was all of the things that I was looking for. And I was finally in a place where I could actually accept it.
Right. How did you and Simon originally meet?
We met at the gym.
Really? What gym is this? Please.
This gym, Sara and I were both going there together. So my girlfriend, I don't know if you know this girl, Ashley Margolis, she runs the A-List.
Oh yeah, I know the company.
So they were working with this gym called Studio with an E, Studio. And she was like, do you want 2 weeks free at this gym with like weight training and stuff where you work with a trainer? It's like this little office building in like Cartier Circle.
We were like, we love free. You had us at free.
Yeah.
We started doing this like 2 week free workout. And once we were doing it for 2 weeks, we were like, let's sign up and actually do it. So we started working out at this gym. You go like 3 days a week. And you have to be with a trainer. And so you kind of like get on a schedule where you sort of are there at the same time as somebody else with their trainer, at 9 a.m. And so I started seeing Simon there, and I didn't know anything about him. And Sara and I both would see him at the gym. And I started saying to her, like, I think that guy Simon at the gym's cute. She was like, okay, I've seen him. He's never hit on me before.
Would have been amazing if he had it though.
Amazing.
Then I would have probably given a toast to your wedding, because that would have been so good.
Just so you could say it.
Yeah.
So anyway, eventually I kind of made the first move on him because I was seeing him so often.
Well, you DM'd, right?
Yeah. And he was being really nice and flirty and polite and like like vibing with me, but he was never ever inappropriate and never making any kind of move. And it was so confusing to me.
Simon inappropriate. It's like not
Oh,
even,
I
he's
know.
like the most appropriate.
I know.
What was your opening line via DM?
Well, you love to say so like mom. It's such a mom thing.
Hey, to say you up.
Yes.
I've never said it to anyone.
I found him on Instagram. So
you requested, he was private.
Yeah, I searched I searched the gym, and then I looked up the trainers, the people that they follow, and then I found his
that's
trainer.
hilarious.
Who his trainer follows, and I saw his name, he was private. So then I was just like, screw it, and I hit requested him, waited for him to accept me. He waited like 2 days. He accepted me. He did not say anything to me. He just accepted, didn't follow back. Maybe he followed back, but he didn't like acknowledge it. So then I was like, well, that wasn't the response I wanted. I want more. So then I was at the gym one day, and he was sort of making fun of me, but because I was filming myself like planking or something. And so I posted the video and I tagged him in it.
And
So
that's how it happened. That's actually so smart. Does he now, like looking back, admit that he was like playing the long game and just like not saying something? Yeah.
He said the second I requested him, he saw it come in, and he was like, oh, she wants
We're
me.
passing by like the greatest part of the story, which is one of the mutual friends suggested Erin to him years before, had said, there's a great girl for you. And he was like, oh, okay, tell me about her. And when she started telling him about Erin, I don't even know if she said a name, but she was just explaining Erin. And he goes, oh, how old is she? And she said like, oh, I think 34 or something. And he was like, no. I'm not looking for anything serious. Like that's a woman that age, like really wants something serious. He was, in his late 20s, I guess, right? At the time.
Well, he was 31 and I was 33 at the time. And he was like, no, thanks. He was a full ageist.
Yeah.
So cancel him.
Which
not only was he ageist, but he assumed that just because you're 33, you're, dying to have a baby tomorrow.
Yeah, listen, but hold on. It's justice for Simon. I actually appreciate it because like we all have to be honest here. Like a lot of women who are 33 are thinking about those things. We have to. We have a biological clock.
True.
We are not, now we know you can freeze your eggs, you can do those things, but for us, we do have a biological clock, and there is really not a woman on the planet at 33 who isn't kind of going, oh shit, there's a window to have kids. I mean, it's so fucked up. So I actually appreciate, instead of Simon being like, oh, is she hot? Let me go out with her, knowing good and well he has no intention of...
Right, that's true. And like he knew himself. Like he was like, I know I'm in like my fuckboy stage. I'm going to like say no. And then, obviously it was meant to be.
Guys are allowed to have their fuckboy stage.
Yeah.
They're allowed to have it. Just don't take us down with you.
Yes.
Right.
Justice for Simon.
Okay.
Justice. There we go. That actually leads me to my next question, which is, what are your relationships? So Erin, you with Tommy, and Simon with you, Sara.
I've always been close with Tommy. I used to be like a little trio with Sara and Tommy when I was single, and they were early on like going on the road and like on the tennis tour and all that. I always invited myself over. I invited myself on all their trips. I would just show up all the time.
Actually, a huge area of discontent and fights with Erin and I over the last, 16 years of our life have been me mad at her that she always sides with him. I mean, we've had huge fights where I'm like, why are you always team Tommy? Like, you never want to take my side. You never want to see the bad in him. Because guess what? We all have bad in us, and that actually has been a huge source of like, you're my sister, like defend me, but she always defends him.
Yeah. I've always been close to Tommy.
But that's a beautiful thing. Like, I feel like I have a sister and she's married, she's older. And I feel like I'm either like siding with him. Actually, no, I'm pretty much always siding with him. Even if him and I will have like our own contention sometimes, I always side with him. So I'm kind of similar like that. Because I feel like if anyone can put you in your place, it's your sister and your husband,
And I've gotten in fights with Tommy. I mean, we've had it out with each other before over different things, but we're like family. And so you always work it out. And like, it's important to us that we have relationships. So we've never like let it go on. But
also I think you guys have like, I don't know you, but I think that there's an aspect of having like unresolved issues with your sister, which is why you want and the brother-in-law, because it's kind of like your way of sticking it to your sister without actually having to stick it to your sister.
Right. No, that's very true. It's like
Not to like criticize you, but I know this one here has
we all have unresolved shit with our siblings. I just feel like it's like, for me, it's like, I knew she was like this. See, like he knows too, like, like it's like that.
Yeah, it's nice to have someone to come with.
Well, over here with me, I actually am not like that. I don't have unresolved issues with Erin. Like when I'm mad at Erin, it's because of something she did to me presently at this time. So my relationship with Simon is very different. Like when he's talking shit about Erin, I'm like, no, she's not like that bad. She's not like, so it's a different dynamic. Simon and I are more like where Erin and Tommy are so long-term. They're like, Tommy's known Erin since she's in her like early 20s.
Right.
A very different dynamic. Simon and I obviously met later in life, and Simon and I really align like in work. So I go to him all the time for like work advice. Like he's really like a friend. Whereas I think, he's family, but I think where Tommy and Erin are kind of like, oh, well, we're family.
Right. It's like older brother or younger sister vibes.
Yeah. Like Simon and I are like really friends. Not that Erin and Tommy aren't, but I think it's just different when you have so much history with someone. I think Tommy looks at Erin as like a younger sister. And I don't know, me and Simon have like a real present friendship. And there isn't a lot of baggage because him and Erin have it's newer, right? So it's like Tommy and there's baggage with it. It's years and years of family dynamics. And this is a little cleaner, I think, because it's new and Simon and Erin met later in life. So it's just cleaner. It's just different.
But Sara and Simon have had a really, really close relationship for a long time. And it's really nice.
Like and I just feel for him,
Let's talk a little bit about you guys as sisters. Did you ever, or like, do you ever feel like competition with each other when it comes to like the way you look? Because like you look similar, but like not like twins, and like you are different, you know what I mean? And I just feel like my sister and I, we look so different. Like we look so different. Like it's hard to believe. Like she just like I feel like she looks like my mom, and I look totally like my dad. And our bodies are very different. Like she's very like ripped and like toned, and I'm more like curvy, so it's like, do you feel that energy between you guys ever?
I don't want to speak for you, but I think the answer is, and I swear to God, the answer is no. We genuinely each want each other to like look there. Like if Erin walks into a party and looks like incredible, I'm like happy. I'm like, oh my God, like I love it. Like I'm the one that goes like, I think you need to like work on your hair a little bit, or like take that cardigan off. Like I'm like, get maybe a little Botox on the forehead, that's getting a little crazy up there. Like, I want her to look her best. I want her to feel her best. I want her to.
Do you feel that I want that for you?
I think so.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like you don't trust it. Like the other night when I told you which bra to wear and you thought I was sabotaging you.
No, but I was joking.
But you know,
yeah, I do feel that. Like I feel.
No, I felt really competitive with Sara when I was younger in my 20s. I, really, really wanted her to be like fat and ugly.
No, you didn't. 20s?
Yeah, of course. You looked really good back then.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But today in our life,
no, you looked good back then, but no, today.
You still look good today. I look better today than I did probably back then. So it was a little more even playing field. But no, I don't feel competitive now. I really want, I tried to tell Sara, like, this thing is cringe. Please take it down. Like, cause I don't want her to look dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
Simon will walk in there and be like, Sara, you look so good. Hey, babe, how was your day?
And Simon tells Sara a lot, tells her how good her body is all the time, how hot she looks all the time. And that's sort of like, listen, this is the freedom I always wanted to have in
my
life.
By the way, he does that with everybody, to be clear. He's the complimenter.
No.
I love that.
But I've always wanted to have the freedom to feel happy for other people, to watch my husband compliment someone else, including my sister, not feel threatened by it.
Right.
I did feel really threatened by it, and I did feel really competitive, and I don't want to feel that way. So as an adult, like, yeah, do I wish Sara didn't have like a 12-inch waist? Yeah, I do. I do wish that she didn't have a 12-inch waist.
You do?
Yeah, I wish it was bigger for sure. I do. The only thing really.
Okay, I wish you had a little cellulite. Okay, but
okay.
I have cellulite. She has no cellulite. Why is that?
I have a, really straight waist and she has a really tiny waist. I would love a pinch waist. I think at this point I have to accept I'm never going to have a pinch waist, and Sara is always going to have one. And I'm not happy for her.
I
Just
don't
going to
think
say it.
always.
I get that. I get that.
Also, justice for you not going and doing what all these other freaking influencer Instagram people are doing, which is like just going for these procedures that literally
Right.
this little waist and this big ass, and we've just like normalized now that people go and do that.
Don't give me too much credit. I went to a surgeon and I asked him to give me that surgery. I went to someone, I made an appointment. I was like, take it out. Take
Erin.
the stomach, put it somewhere else. And he was like, I can't, this is not even like a humble brag, but it's like, it's not fat that I have there so much. It's just the shape of my body. And he was just like, there's nothing I can do to help you.
Would you really do that? You weren't going to really do that.
I mean,
it's like a major, I don't think that's just like an inpatient situation. It's like a full, like people die doing that procedure.
No.
They do.
And what are you talking about, you guys?
Like liposuction? I'm thinking of Clueless when she's like, my mom died during a routine liposuction.
It's true, you guys. I don't think that this thing that we've just normalized is
no, you're right. It's not okay. It's not okay. People need to stop. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Edit that out. But yeah.
What? Oh, that part?
Oh, I just said a name. I whispered her a name.
Oh, I didn't hear it. So it wasn't heard. When you met Simon, other than messaging him first on Instagram, did you follow any rules?
I really didn't. And well, okay, the only rule I followed that I really highly recommend is that I kept dating other people.
Yes.
Because I started really liking him and I got a little bit nervous because he really did have fuckboy energy. He was like wearing baseball hats every day. He was playing basketball and like, going out and like
basketball.
I don't know, just like he felt like young to me. He just did not like marry. He felt like a boy kind of in a lot of ways. And I started getting nervous that I was liking him too much. And I thought he was going to hurt me because he's 2 years younger than me and he just didn't feel ready. So the best advice I have and what I really did was be all in on the other relationships in a real way. Like I dated other people while I was dating Simon, and I actually took those relationships seriously. Like I followed through with them. Like I was properly dating these people, I actually liked these people, and I was making plans in the future with those people in a sincere way. I wasn't doing it just so that Simon would think I was dating other people. I was just actually really doing it. And it helped me not like obsess too much in that one relationship and invest everything in that one person. So I kept thinking like, okay, I really like this guy, Simon. If he kind of screws me over or bails on me, I also like this other person.
Right, exactly.
And I really think that kind of helped.
Definitely. It's also like a guarantee that at one point, like someone's going to be texting you, like if Simon doesn't text you for like a few hours, another one of the guys will be. So
yeah, and then you can reach out to someone else to kind of fill the space so that you don't focus too much on like the rejection.
Also, we talked about this on our own podcast, but I think for us, we spent so much time in our 20s, you in your 30s, always looking through dating through the lens of, oh God, like, how do I look? Like, okay, is he going to like me? Like, did he just think that was interesting what I said? Oh God, was that stupid? Oh, did his friends not like? Instead of like flipping the lens and going like, do I like them?
Right. Yeah.
And like I spent so much time in my 20s just only thinking, do they like me? Do they like me? Do they like me? Do they think I'm pretty? Do they think my body's good? Do they think this? Like looking back, I'm like, did I even like half of them?
But easier said than done.
No,
I mean, you have to really work on yourself to get to that point.
Right. Like you have to have real confidence, not like fake confidence at that point.
And that's the thing is like, I don't think faking that stuff really translates because we all can kind of feel someone's energy. We can feel if they really like us or not.
No, but my point is, I think half the time, if you sit back, you go, wait, I don't even actually know if I like them. I'm more concerned.
Right. Like, I just want to be liked.
I just want to be exactly. And like, do I actually even like them to their core? Or do I even find them attractive? At least for me, all I cared about was, are they finding me? Am I worthy?
Yeah. Yeah. Were you, Erin, did you wait to sleep with Simon?
He waited to sleep with me. He had a better boundary than I did.
You were like, let's do this. He was like, no.
Yeah, he like held off for a while. Because I think for him, it felt so different than it had ever felt for him before. And he had been frivolous about sex with girls, and then like it fizzled. And, you know, I really do, like, looking back, I would say that when I was younger, I would use sex as a way to get to know somebody and as a way to sort of skip uncomfortable conversations. If I didn't want to get too intimate verbally or emotionally with that person, then I would be like, well, let's just take the next step physically, and then that'll make us feel close to each other. And I don't want to say like I regret, you know, like being single and sleeping with people, but I do kind of regret jumping to that quickly.
Yeah.
Because so often you get physical with someone and then you realize you don't really like the person. And as a woman, like, you do sort of feel like, fuck, I really let that person get really close to me and I don't even want to know them anymore.
Right.
And it's a bit of a weird feeling. I wish that I had been a little bit more precious about it. Because I felt like it was very empowering and like this sort of feminist strong position to say, like, I'll sleep with someone whenever I want to sleep with them. And you can do that if it feels good, but it didn't always feel good afterwards when I realized that we don't like each other.
Right. Yeah.
So flip side, I'm somebody that never leaned into my sexuality and never went for like opportunities that presented themselves that were kind of like that I kind of wanted to, but I was like have fun, and that I was scared to. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to be looked at as a slut, or I don't want to whatever. But now where I'm sitting, I look back and I go, God, I missed out on a potentially like a lot of good times, and time opened my mind and might have exposed me to something different. And so I don't know. I just think kind of like no regrets in a way, because I think it's all led us to where we are now. Like, of course, looking back, you're like, okay, if I could have done this different, I would have. And it's important to have that. But also, I was the opposite of you. And I wish I was like a little more like you.
Right. Like the grass is always greener.
Yeah. I guess I just mean, like, I think that you shouldn't use sex as a way to
like get someone to like you or feel close to you.
Yes.
Like only actually do it if you are feeling empowered. If you're like, I want to fuck tonight and I don't care what happens.
Yeah, I think that not exactly what you said, because it can still feel bad afterwards, and you do kind of have to protect yourself a little bit, because you think something happens for women mostly when you have sex with someone. You do feel a sense of attachment, or
it's science.
Doesn't go anywhere. And I remember one specific time with someone. I had gone out with a guy a couple times, and I got a feeling from him like, this person's gonna hurt me or would be capable of hurting me if we sleep together. I will feel bad if this doesn't go anywhere. And so I did not sleep with him. And I remember like there was something about it that made me less attached to the rejection afterwards, when I felt like I had protected myself in a way that I kind of wish I had done a couple more times, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Erin, you've been really open, which I appreciate so much. And I know so many other women appreciate about your fertility journey. Do you ever feel resentful towards Sara for not having gone through it? And I'm curious, Sara, on your perspective on this too.
You know, Sara had kids so young that it wasn't even something we were thinking about at that time. And when Sara was having kids, I wasn't ready to have kids. So
neither was I.
Yeah.
So true. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? I was like, I don't know how to be a mom.
Yeah, it's honestly so true. So it's not like I, was trying to get pregnant and then Sara was coming to me saying, I'm pregnant now. I'd say that more was happening with my younger sister, Jordan. She was getting pregnant kind of when I was wanting to get pregnant, but no, I mean, resentful would not be the right word. I would say that thank God my sisters have kids, because I think it puts pressure on my sisters that I don't have kids yet, because it's so important to me to be connected to their kids that I'm like constantly stalking them and wanting to see their kids or talk to their kids, or like, they're like, me and Simon have our nieces and nephews as our like pseudo children. And so it puts a lot of pressure on them that they like we force them to have play dates with us.
That is not pressure. It's like a built-in nanny. Like yesterday I was like, who the hell's going to pick up Valentina from school? I'm like, oh, Erin will go get her. Like, that's definitely not pressure. It's a blessing. Like,
I just feel like I'm always FaceTiming my siblings. Like, can I talk to them? Can I see them? I got them this thing. I want to read this thing. Like, I'm like,
no, that's like the dream. The dream in life, it takes a village. The dream in life is to have a village. We were not raised we were with our aunts in the summer for a little bit, but like we weren't raised with a village, and the dream is to raise with a village. Like that's the dream.
Right.
So I feel really lucky that my siblings let me have such a close relationship with my nieces and nephews. And it fills a huge void for us, so I'm so grateful to have that. And no, my sisters have been really
my kids
supportive.
don't even wonder that. My kids are like, I just hope Auntie doesn't have kids, because they're so scared that if she has kids, they're going to
be replaced.
They don't need to have kids. Auntie's so busy. I mean, she is her career. She, not have kids.
Yeah, they don't really want me to have kids. No, I think it's been really helpful having my sisters have kids so that I can have a close relationship with kids and learn so much,
Right.
Learn so much of like what kind of parent I want to be based on being with those kids. And
that's true.
And my sisters are just so supportive, and they're like the two people that I go to with all the real stuff about fertility things,
Yeah.
So,
Sara, do you ever like feel like, oh no, I said the wrong thing, or like, what is the right thing for me to say to her to support her?
No. Erin and I have like such an open dialogue. Like,
well, and I'll tell her, I'll be like, that's not what I want to hear right now. She's like, okay, say something else.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll be like, calm down with that, So, but no, I think
sometimes you're just not looking for solutions. You're just looking to tell someone. And I think Sarah's instinct is to be very solution oriented. So she wants to say, okay, it's fine. Then this is going to happen, or this is the plan. And I'll be like, Sara, I really don't want you to like list for me all the next steps that I can do. I just wanted to tell you the update, She's like, okay.
Right.
I do times.
Okay, now for some more fun questions. Have you guys ever kissed the same guy?
No.
God, no.
I'm trying to think of like middle school.
No, and we have very different tastes. I think. There's never even in our earliest years of like,
I think maybe Jordan and I kissed the same person in high school, maybe.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Who is the favorite daughter?
Well, listen,
it's not Sara, like for either of our parents. It's just not. She's never going to get that award. I would say sometimes it's Jordan, sometimes it's me.
Yeah. I'm just like not looking for that award. I just like to have.
Sarah's been trying to cut her family out of her life. So she's
I'm not like a piece. I'm more of a like
shit starter.
I'm more of a like, no, this is not how we operate. This is not how we do things. Like I call my parents out, whereas Erin and Jordan are more like trying to keep the peace.
Right.
So I don't know that one is right and one is wrong, but that's kind of like where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As a teenager, I was like, excuse me, are we all going to just sit around and act like this is fucking normal? Like, did our mom really just do this? Did our dad really just do this? We are not going to allow that to happen. It's just how I've always been. And I think I just have to accept it's always how I'm going to be.
Right. That's just like older sibling energy, I feel.
That's why.
It's like older sibling energy. I feel like they're the ones that like do the calling out of the parents.
I get a lot of messages from people who listen to the podcast being like, I so get this. I'm the older sister. My younger sister is like always kissing our mom's ass. And I'm the one that's like, blah, blah, blah. So I think it is kind of like a universal dynamic.
Definitely. Do you speak to any of your ex step siblings?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
We have
good relationships with them on all sides, honestly. It's so funny. Like even like our mom was married to someone for a long time when we were younger, and my stepbrother from that relationship is doing all of the landscape design for Simon and I's new house.
Yeah, and we're talking 30 years ago.
Yeah.
This was like our mom married when we were like 10 or 8 or 5 or something,
and it's been cool. that together. And yeah, I'd say all of our ex-siblings we have a relationship with on some level. We're not like, talking to on a daily, but we're in good relationships with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Erin, what's your favorite Jewish food?
Ooh, latke.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Erin makes really good latkes and really good matzo ball soup.
My matzo ball soup.
No, your matzo ball soup is so much better than the caterer you get. Your matzo ball soup that you made that one year was like crazy good.
Yeah, that's true. One time I did make it really good, but
So
my
good.
latkes are a huge hit.
The matzo ball soup thing is so impressive. Like I've been Jewish my whole life and I've never been able to make matzo ball soup.
No, but you use
it's
the
hard.
recipe
So hard.
that you use from.
Yeah, Alison Roman.
That's the one you use, and it
Oh
was
yeah. Yeah, her stuff is amazing. What is your biggest insecurity?
Me?
Both.
I have so many.
Biggest insecurity.
I don't know. I think I preach a lot about like inner peace and whatever, but like I still am working through this need for people to like me. Like I really don't want people to not like me. I really don't want people to think I'm lame. And so like I'm still working through that. So it's like a huge insecurity. I'm like, oh, nobody likes me. Nobody wants to be around me, nobody like that. And then also my ankles. I have like kind of kinkles. And I'm really white. Like I hate being so fucking white. Like I just hate it. Like my skin's translucent. I've always been like, I don't want to wear shorts. I never wear shorts ever. Cause I'm like,
wow, you guys literally have like famously iconic legs, both of you.
All filtered. What are you talking about? And I put like filter on. Like
I don't believe that at all.
Your daughter with like tan lights that make you look tan. Like I hate.
No, I feel good about my legs.
Yeah,
my legs. I feel confident in my boob. I feel
confident. You egomaniac over
confident
here.
in my legs. I have great boobs. I never show them, but I feel very good about them. Mine are real. You hear me, Sarah? I said mine are real. Yeah. I'm insecure physically. I'm insecure about my stomach for sure. That's my least favorite part of my body. And then, and like, cause I have a short torso, so I just don't love that. I feel like it's never gonna grow.
You've always been a freak about your midsection.
Yeah, that's my problem area.
Even though you have such a good midsection, but it's just your problem, your thing.
And then I think the other stuff I would say, like, just sort of my interpersonal skills. Sometimes I struggle socially. I just have a hard time, getting along with someone or not judging people. And that's sort of my biggest insecurity. I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh God.
Best ever of any kind.
I know it's a toughie.
It's a tough one.
Okay.
I recently, there's so much over the course of your life, right? But most recently, I would say that learning how to be direct is a huge part of being a happy person and having good relationships in your life. I learned that when you have a friend who is direct, it's a really safe friendship for you. Because it might be uncomfortable in the moment to hear what they're saying. When they're upset with you, so you don't have to like wonder. How they feel about you. I think that's why like sibling relationships are so safe and comfortable, because that the person's telling you the truth and telling you how they really feel. And so lately I've been really working on my friendships being direct and encouraging my friends to be direct and me to be direct, and in my work life being direct. And I think it's just a huge like compliment to the person when you're willing to tell them the truth.
Yeah, that's so true.
I don't know that I have this like one piece of advice that's like changed my life and that I can, change other people's lives saying it right now. But one thing that I've been really, so much of it has been revealed to me, understanding that Erin and I were raised to sort of feel like we had to contain our emotions and operate from this very, tough exterior. And that's kind of how I've always lived my life, like with friends, with family, with significant others, is like, I am strong, I am tough, you cannot break me down, nothing affects me, I will not tell you how I feel, I'm fine. And I think, as we all know, like that is not the way to live. That is not like the way to prosper. And so I've been doing therapy over the past few years, and my therapist has really just like pounded into me that vulnerability is the key to connectivity, that vulnerability is the way to have meaningful relationships with whoever it is, that is how we connect to each other, is by vulnerability, that vulnerability is not weakness, vulnerability is strength. So like I've been talking about like, oh, I feel like a lot of my female friendships are just not where they used to be. Like a lot of my female friendships are not as strong as they used to be. I'm like craving that connectivity. And through it, we've been like, well, have you been vulnerable lately? Have you, all it takes is just sort of like one phone call, one text, like a vulnerability to that person, and it will like instantly reconnect you. And so I've just been like really trying to tap into that more. And it really is true that vulnerability is the way to connect with other people. So if I could go back to my like 20-year-old self, I would have like operated more from that place. And that doesn't mean like, oh I'm so sad. That's not the vulnerability I'm talking about. It's just like a softness and an honesty that I think is just really important. And
Yeah, I love that. It's true. It's like being honest instead of just like, hey, I'm so good. Like, you know, my husband and I are so great. It's like, no, we're actually struggling. Like we're going through this thing. I feel like men don't use vulnerability in their friendships like as much as they should. And I see that a lot with my husband's relationships. Okay, I know we're going over. I'm just going to ask very, very rapid fire. Do you care?
That's okay.
Okay. Do you care what people think of Met Gala looks? Yes or no?
No.
Agreed. And everyone is all of a sudden like a critic.
You can see, it's so weird. I'm so not inspired by Met Gala anything.
Yeah.
Right. Do you feel like celebrities don't know the difference between your and your?
Wait, like your and you are?
Yeah, like just the apostrophe re versus your.
I don't think like celebrities, just like people.
Just people in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like celebrities more than anyone. Is it rude to have your sunglasses on the entire time during an outside date? Yes or no?
Yeah, you got to be able to see somebody's eyes. Take your sunglasses.
Like outside during the day?
Yeah. On a date.
Some people don't want to squint.
But on a date, I'm using it as a shield.
Right. Like I would take it off for like a second and let them see, but then put it back on. Have you ever tested your significant other? Yes or no?
Tested them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in every single possible way.
Can a girl text a guy, so when do I see you again, after they've been texting back and forth, but no mention of second date? Yes or no? Wait for him.
Yes.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
No.
Wait, really?
No. He has your number. If he wants to see you again, he'll make it happen.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Guys, we gotta pick a lane. Are we trying to be like, what do we want?
No,
like,
I don't believe in completely abandoning like the original gender roles that we
Right.
have.
I agree. Rules are important.
I'm so sorry. You can't say to the guy,
no,
when are we hanging again?
No. It's desperate and pathetic. Yeah. You have to have a life. And like, if they want to nail you down again for a second date, you're already texting, you know?
Exactly. I mean, I know Simon said to me, once you made it clear that you were interested,
he was pursuing. Right. Exactly. As he should. Do you pretend to be interested in the sports your significant other loves when he talks about it? Yes or no?
No.
Yeah. I don't even pretend. What time do you usually have dinner? 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, or 8 to 9?
7 to 8.
That's late.
5 to 7.
Yeah.
I'm from the office till like 7. We don't eat till late.
Yeah. Can politeness ever be a turn off? Yes or no?
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do you use pet names for your significant other? Yes or no?
Does like babe count?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. You
Oh
do.
my God. I mean, my pet names were so cringe.
Yeah.
You would
like Schnoopily Noodly.
You would delete me off this podcast.
Yeah.
No, I actually love cringy pet names. I think it's like a huge indication of a good relationship.
Simon recently started calling me his little storm cloud because I'm constant.
That's really cute, actually. I love that.
That's actually really fun. Like you're like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you guys so much. This has been amazing. I know that you guys are so insanely busy. You also just launched like a venture fund I saw. So congratulations. You have so many things going on. So you taking the time means the world. Where can everybody find you, follow you, and buy Favorite Daughter, listen to your podcast, all the things?
Lindsey, thank you so much for having us. This was really fun. You're awesome. Okay, please follow Favorite Daughter on Instagram and on TikTok. We're really trying to make our TikTok happen.
Yeah, why is it so hard to get a TikTok to go?
It's hard. It's hard.
It really is.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, I'm Erin Foster. You're Sara Foster, right?
Yeah, but if you're gonna follow anyone, just follow Favorite Daughter.
Yeah, we need Favorite Daughter followers, please.
You got it. Thank you guys so much.
Oh
yeah.
World's First Podcast. Follow that too.
That's an amazing name, by the way, like hysterical.
And just listen to our podcast. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Thank you guys.
So much. It was so nice to meet you.
Bye.